it's been 2 months since this team lost back-to-back in regulation. Just that consistency and the resiliency. What does that tell you about this team?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it plenty of times. It's a bunch of things, we talked about at training camp, the resiliency, the ability to bounce back, whether it's in game or game to game, and obviously we've done a really good job of that this year, so that's going to be key down the stretch.
Obviously 1 point away from breaking the record, passing it down. Any extra family or anything in town for this next couple games?
My parents are coming up today, and then my sisters are actually going to be able to make it up on the weekend, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I know you said your dad comes here to a lot of games. Does your mom come to a lot of games?
Yeah, they usually come together. I think my dad probably made it to a lot more games in Chicago, but I think he's getting a little bit more familiar just with everything here, and it's a little bit of a shorter drive, 4.5 hours compared to 8 to Chicago, but it's always nice to have them here. They haven't come as much this year, but I think the schedule's just been kind of crazy, and they've had some bad weather too, so a couple things you can't really things that affect you that you can't really expect sometimes, so but always good to have him in town.
Have you heard from Modano?
I saw him the other day in Minnesota. We after the game met up with him and 3 of his kids, talked to him for a little bit there.
Yeah. Did you ever your careers overlapped a little bit? Did you ever play with him at any international teams or anything?
No, never played with him, but played against him for a few years.
A good record overall this season, but especially at home. What do you think have been some of the keys behind that? The fan support, the strategies of playing on home ice. Can you attest to anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, we want to be a good team at home. Obviously, playing in this building's a huge advantage, with the fans, with the atmosphere. Obviously, we have last change, so that's always an advantage as well, depending on what matchups the coaches want. I just think it's a great place to play. I think the fans are really unbelievable here, very supportive. Crowds have been great, so it seems like they're always behind us.
You've been with this team for a few years now. In terms of chemistry and tightness, is this about as tight as a group as you've been a part of with this team? And I mean, that seems to have a big impact on the ice too.
Yeah, I think so. I think so for sure. Some of the best teams I was ever on, we were the tightest off the ice as well, and I definitely kind of feel that with this group. Young guys coming in, kind of finding their own space in the locker room and being able to contribute as far as being leaders and leadership and off ice chemistry. I think that's the best thing about this locker room now is it's like. Whoever you are, whatever your personality, you can still bring something to the team every game.
Patrick, have you gotten to know Ovi at all just from being in the league for so many years with him? What's that relationship like, if there is one?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of media tours, all-star games, different things like that, playing with and spending some time against each other. Obviously playing against each other a bunch of times too, but he's obviously been so good for the game. His personality, his energy, his excitement, and he was always a fun guy to be around at those type of events too. You always kind of gravitate towards him and the energy he has. So the relationships. It's not like we're best friends or anything, but definitely spent a lot of time together and cross paths a bunch.
Do you ever think that this might be the last time tonight that you guys go head to head, share the ice together? Is that possible?
No, I never really thought about that. I obviously we played in the West there for a while, so we'd only see him, once or twice a year. So it'd always be pretty cool to play against him. A couple good battles, but I guess we'll see.
It's kind of amazing. Teams know what's coming. With that one-timer, it really is kind of amazing in a way. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the one-timer's been great for him. I almost, remain more impressed with just the other ways he finds ways to score. It's not really like he's just, has that one trick. I mean, he's around the net. He tips pucks. He gets to the net, finds rebounds. He just, finds a bunch of ways to score. Even nowadays, it's not like he's scoring on that one-timer all the time, right? He's always finding new ways to score, which is equally impressive.
Thanks, Kane.
Thanks, man.
Todd, I know we've talked about this before, but it's been, I think, 2 months now since you've lost back-to-back in regulation. Can you just speak to that, the resiliency and just the consistency and just how important that is, especially in a year like this where everything's so tight?
Well, first off, we wouldn't be where we are without it. That amount of time, I didn't even realize it was that long. You have to give the guys credit for that, but we're in that situation tonight where we've got to put a stop to it, and we'll get tested again, and it won't be the last time throughout the season. So we've done a good job to this point, but it just gets harder, and I'll tip my hat to everybody so far, but we've got to keep it going, and it's 20 players deep every night. It can't just be 15. It can't be 10. That resilience has to come from all 20, and when it does, we have a chance. When it doesn't, we tend to have games like the one against Los Angeles.
You'd mentioned the other day you might go 70, or you hadn't decided. What's the defense going to look like? Yeah,
we'll go 6D tonight. We've got a little bit of illness going through the team. I can't tell you which 6 yet. We've got some of the flu bug hitting us, so we've got to figure out exactly who our roster is at game time, but we're going to go 6.
Hey, there was a point there where Michael Rasmussen was kind of hurt and took a little bit of a dip, Todd. Where do you see his game at now? Is he kind of where he's...
Yeah, I think that Ras has given us some real good minutes lately. He's settled in. He's playing center more than wing now. That line of Elmer and Ras and App, for the most part, have been pretty heavy and hard to play against. Their size and their ability to hold on to pucks, and Ras leads the way. He's become a good penalty killer for us. And, I think now that he's healthy, which he wasn't earlier in the year, certainly helps him.
Do you think he's more of a center naturally than on the wing?
I think he's a utility guy. I think he could play either side or play in the middle. I don't know exactly what what he favors, but I feel good putting him in any situation, in any position.
I believe you guys have only allowed 3 goals or fewer, and I think it's 10 of the last 11. Team defense structurally, are you seeing anything from that stretch that pertain to those numbers? Or
well, I'd start with the goaltending. Both Cam and Kibbe have given us some real good games. We haven't had any stinkers there. And then structurally, we've been, doing some of the things we want to do. Our penalty kill's improved. It's got to take off again. It's kind of flattened out. So it has to take off again. So those are all areas where goal prevention is important. The other night we lose a game, and it's probably not because of our defensive play, which in the past you couldn't really say that. We gave up 21, 22 shots on goal. Really only two true goals. The empty netter I don't count. And that's enough to win. But the offense let us down the other night. So, but we are improving in that defensive area.
What have you made so far this season of Travis's year?
I'm sorry?
What have you made so far this season of Travis's game?
Travis.
Hamonic.
Tough season for Travis. He started, basically started with the team on opening night. Didn't go real well for anybody. Bernard Docker came in, played well, and all of a sudden you're not in the lineup for a long time. You're waiting for your opportunity, and then he's gone in. And you can tell he's played a lot of hockey. He's a veteran guy because he didn't let that affect his mindset or anything. He worked really hard in practice so that after that extended period you put him in, he was ready to play. And does some really good things on the bench. He's one of the most positive guys we have. When it's not going well on the bench, when we get scored on, he's there to pick everybody up. He makes sure that that guys know he's or that they still have an opportunity. Don't get away from it. And I think he does a real good job of that. Takes care of his teammates, so he's done a good job.
When it comes to the mentality of a guy who can be out and then come in and play the game, because there's some guys who you see they've been out and they come in and they struggle early on. Like, what goes into, is that something you know about a guy? Are there certain guys that can't have that skill to be able to, hey, you can sit for 3 weeks and I don't have to, not lose them, but I don't have to worry about, if they don't play, I don't have to worry about that first game back is going to be a dud.
Yeah, that's, it's actually a good point. There's different players. Like they vary from, damn, I got to worry about this guy all the time to I'm not worried one bit about this guy. And there's that whole spectrum of players. Hammer's one that we weren't too worried about, just his commitment to practice and his attitude. And a lot of it is attitude. No one wants to sit out. No one wants to watch a game. Nobody wants to be told they can't play on any given night. And I understand being upset and not talking about Hammer, talking about the spectrum of players, being upset and wanting to play. But if you don't deal with it the right way, you're not going to give yourself a chance. And if you don't deal with it the right way and your body language gives off negativity all the time, we sense that and read it, and that scares us from putting him back in the lineup, that individual. Or you can go the other way and you can go, okay, well, I'm going to wait my turn and I'm going to show you, and you're not going to be able to take me out again. And those are the ones that you really like. You want everybody to be pissed off a little bit, but the I'll show you ones are the good ones.
And the last one for me, obviously we've talked about the schedule's impact on your staff just for your, but in a weird way, does it make it easier to ignore whatever other team is doing when you kind of look around the league? When you're prepping and you've got, you play a game, you've got 36 hours till you play again. Like, does it make it almost easier to stay, I only can kind of focus on what the Red Wings are doing and not worry about what other teams in the Atlantic are doing?
You know what, you're onto something there. Like, you don't have time to breathe. You don't have time to sit back and have a 4-day window of games and maybe you overthink things, or you, as much as you'd like to have that time and be able to work on things, it takes that away from you. We played LA, we don't have a real good night, we got to get to practice, and that 10-hour span between the end of the game and practice was essential for us. There were so many things that we had to do as a staff with individuals, with lines, with team prep, and then we needed a good practice, and here we are playing again. So it really doesn't give you time to wallow or to get lost in things. You got to get ready to play again, and it has been. Well, it's been that every second day.
Todd, this might be Ovi's last season. It might be the last time that he comes through here. I know you've got a game to win tonight, but do you pause to appreciate greatness when it's right in front of you at times?
Yeah, what he's done. It's remarkable. We were watching in the pre-scout, I don't know if it was their broadcast or something, he scored his 335th or something like that power play goal. That's more than most have in an extended career. He's just got those in power play goals. Like, it's remarkable what he's done. And he continues to do it. Like, he finds a way. So, I hope that he keeps playing. Or I hope Ovi does what Ovi wants to do, put it that way, because he's given us so many good years of hockey. If he wants to continue on, I'd be happy to watch him. I just don't like playing against him because he finds a way to score. But every other night we're watching the TV and what he did for his team last year with providing that energy and that boost. Kaner's doing a little bit of that for us this year too, chasing some of his records. Our guys want to really help him get there. And it can help the team's energy level, the excitement level, the enthusiasm when you have players like that around.
If I can rewind 20 years briefly, when he first arrived in 05-06, what were your first impressions of him?
I can barely remember what I did yesterday. I just remember the Sid Ovi comparable. That was big right off the bat. And it remained that way. Thankfully, both of them have won their cups. I think they both deserve them because that was the secondary debate. But I remember Ovi being a little scrawnier. And, you look at him in that first year in those jerseys, You know, he was a boy. Now he's 240, 250-pound man that he's a train out there. But it just goes to show how when those young players, Connor McDavid, I remember seeing him the first year and the jersey was just hanging on him, and then the second year he came back and he's filled it out. Mother Nature helps these guys an awful lot in 1 or 2 years.
Todd, just to clarify with the flu going around, but all 12 forwards and Gibson are good to go?
We believe they are, yes. We'll see at game time. Okay.